What's up, mother truckers? Welcome to the Theasianmaishow. So today I want to talk about basically these job offers that get thrown at you, these loads that get thrown at you. The money looks good. When you're brand new into trucking or brand new to money, right? You never heard $10,000, $20,000. You never heard that in your lifetime. So you hear those numbers and you start getting excited. Well, the truth be told, as you start getting screwed over, and the more you get screwed over, that dollar sign doesn't mean nothing. It's all about your bottom line, okay? And so whatever number you're hearing, it's always the gross. And that gross sounds great. I mean, it sounds like amazing, okay? And when you're new into any business or you're new to money in general, you don't know the difference between gross and net. I mean, you really don't. You hear $40,000 and you're jumping up with joy and you're just amazed and you're just so excited about it. The truth about it is, if I give a simple example, if someone offered you $50,000 to do a job, but it cost you $49,500 to complete the job, you really only made $500, right? So you really need to know your worth. And when I say that, you need to know how much it costs to run your truck. You need to know your business in and out. And you need to have a good understanding. A lot of times, you're going to take a lot of L's. And from taking those L's physically and from doing that hard work physically, from driving those miles or what have you, from missing birthdays, whatever it is, to find out that you didn't make a lot of money doing whatever that was, you're going to find out real quick what your worth really is. So for today, I got a job. Corporate sent my dispatcher a job that says that it's going to pay like $10,700 and some change, right? So roughly $11,000, right? In the moving game, there's extras, there's packing, there's unpacking, there's shuttling, which is basically renting a U-Haul to basically shuttle the items because my truck can't get into the residential area. There's crating. There's turning on stuff. There's putting stuff on the wall. I mean, you name it, there is money in moving. And those extras could be huge. But I don't like thinking about those extras and what money I could potentially make. I like thinking about the money that I'm actually going to get paid. So, from the job itself, it says $10,700 and some change, right? I get the call this morning, and I get an email out, and they ask me if I want the job. And they literally give me about, I don't know, a good hour, because if I don't take the job, they'll hand it over for another driver because they need to get this job booked. So a lot of times you're making big time decisions really quickly and it could screw you, right? You might have seen that video of when I was on a ferry. I know your Amanda's moving too, but when's the last time you've been on a ship, you know what I mean, to do this move job? And this ship ain't cheap. Getting U-Haul trucks and semi trucks on here, it's like a couple $100 a vehicle, man. What? I had about 30 minutes to book that job. I said yes to it. The money seemed decent, and there was no ferry involved in the booking, and I had to pay for the ferry out of my own pocket, and I barely made any money out of that job. I got so lucky, and I think it was Father's Day too, so I got triple screwed. I had to pay my guys what they're worth, which I will always pay people what they're worth. People are worth more than money, but I wouldn't pay anybody what I wouldn't pay myself, is what I mean by that. And because of that, I think I paid like $500 on that job. And it was a crazy, stressful job. I was on the water on a ferry. But they said, hey, you want this job? It pays this much, and you get about 20, 30 minutes. If you don't want it, we're going to give it to someone else. Now, I know to look on maps. If the map looks like it's near water, I'm going to start asking more questions about it, because there might be a ferry involved. And that job was out in Washington, right? Now, with that said, so going back to this job, they say it pays about $10,700 and some change. Well, I asked some more questions. There's freaking 9 shipments on the job. All right. I start doing math real quick in my head. All right. I pay my guy to help me load and unload. If they're 9 shipments, that means they're small shipments. Okay. Well, I pay $200 a day, right? So loading 200, unloading 200, 400. So what's 400 times 9? I mean, what is that about? $3,600 because 9 shipments, right? So I'm spending about $3,600 to $4,000 on labor alone. That's not including fuel. And the jobs are going from here to California, which is about 3,500 miles, 3,600 miles, depending where I'm going. So that's another $3,000, dollars. I'm just thinking real quick in my head. So I'm doing the math, and I'm like $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, right? That's not including my expenses, all that good stuff, and especially the expenses for the truck, because you always have to include that, right? The maintenance for the truck. So I like to include about 10%. So I'm looking in about $4,000 for labor, $3,600 to $4,000 for labor. I'm looking at another $2,000 to $3,000 for fuel, right, and another $1,000 for maintenance, right. So I'm looking at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 grand right there, and I'm just thinking this on the top of my head, right. The job pays $10,700, right. So 8 grand. I'm thinking I'm making about $2,700. It's $2,700. And here's the thing. That job will take me about more than 9 days to complete. It's not like a normal freight job where you just pick up at a warehouse. You're picking up at 9 different locations, which is 9 different people's homes. Sometimes it could be a small job, but it could kill you. So the job could take me about 12 days, right? So I'm looking at the math. If I'm making about, $2,700, just say 3 grand for 10 days, I'm not making much money, so I'm doing all this in my head. So I email them back and I just say, this job's not for me. So that's kind of like, it's crazy, but you kind of have to know your business. You kind of have to think about it quickly, because they literally at times say, hey, you want this job, we're going to give it to you. Here's the money for it. Here it is on the fly. And you got to make it work. So all I have to say is know your business, know it well, and by doing that, you will find success. So hopefully this video doesn't confuse you too much, but overall, it's really about knowing your numbers, knowing how the business works, and knowing if it's worth it for you. Because for me, going across the nation for $2,700 or $3,000, I'm not going to do it. It's not going to do what it needs to do to provide for my lifestyle and for my living and for all that hard work. I'm not saying I'm not willing to work hard. I'd rather stay at home until a job pays a little bit more. So I appreciate you guys. I thank you guys. Peace. Appreciate you. Bye.